Perfect.
Yes, okay. So I'm really excited to be here in the first event of our network of interest. And I think it's very timely now because, as Annie said before, and I will not go to the detailed discussion of these challenges that food system is facing now. So that's why I will present the results of work package 1 within the project of Vision for Food that developed together with my colleagues here from Copenhagen Business School, Anna Schmidt and Isabel Frost. So within work package 1, our the main objectives of our activities was focusing on these 5 pilot cases within the projects. And first, our aim was to create multidimensional understanding of the dynamics in this business sector, and we were planning to create country profiles that were covering technological, political, economic, and social dimensions in this aspect, and also broader European trends. And the second, our aim was analyzing of stakeholders' beliefs regarding open innovation to identify drivers and gaps in this open innovation adaptation, and also exploring needs and challenges that perceived by these main actors in the food system. And just to start, I will briefly introduce the theoretical framework that we applied, and this theoretical framework guide us in our research process. And this is a quadruple helix model in food system transformation. And as you can see, we were focusing on the key stakeholders in this system, so industry, public authorities, research, and civil society. And these quadruple helix models were widely used in analyzing, especially innovating-driven system transformation. And we know that their successful and sustainable transformation could be possible only when all these key actors are included. Only isolated actors can lead us to reach sustainable development goals. So once they interact, there are flows in this system that are influences cooperation, coevolution, and co-specialization between these helices. So the flows are enables and barriers. Enables, it could be clear regulation system, market shifts, workforce capacity, and barriers. Sometimes it's political complexity, maybe lack of knowledges, and high risks. So exactly on these factors, we are focusing our research in this work package of the project. So we were investigating which are the most important enablers and barriers, and and how actors in this system perceive them. So I will briefly introduce to the methodology that we applied within this project. Mainly, we had these 3 stages of research. In the first stage, we ran literature review on the food innovation sector in these 5 pilot regions. So we analyzed more than 450 documents. It was like academic papers and also policy report, articles, some other policy briefs. All this literature were analyzed within the PAST framework to structure these enablers and barriers across these political, economic, social, and technological dimensions. And the second stage, interviews, has been run. So in total, we have 35 interviews with quadruple helix stakeholders within our pilots and also at EU level. On the third stage of our analysis, we ran a survey. It was large-scale survey, also focusing on 5 pilot regions, and in total we have 296 eligible response. So I will not go through deeply all data collection and data analysis, and I will introduce briefly 2 key findings that we found out through these 3 stages of the research. So the first stage of literature review allow us to create past profiles for 5 pilot regions. And what we could say here from technological perspective, mostly food systems are generally in the mid stage of innovation transformation. As for example, in Finland, there are advanced biotech and digital pilots. In Poland, there are emerging agri-tech startups, and also in Italy, in Spain, smart farming developing. In Greece, there is still early stage digitalization, but marine bioeconomy niche is promising. From social perspective, we found out quite strong differences. For example, in Finland, there are high trust in education and research, but there are rural population issues. In Italy and Greece, there are a strong focus on traditional rich food culture, and also there is high organic consumption. In Poland and Spain, we identify strong consumer demand for sustainable food, and there is growing organic and local interest in these new uptakes. And from the political perspective, we could say that most of regions face challenges that related to regulatory inconsistency, fragmented governance, and complex compliance requirements. And at the same time, there is increasing policy emphasis on short value chains and regional food strategies to support innovation-oriented food policies. So with all these results, we are aiming then to go deeper and find out qualitative insights especially from actors that are active in this food sector. So we ran interviews with quadruple stakeholders, and here I would like to share some insights from these interviews. So how these quadruple stakeholders perceive the situation and food system innovation, and business actors often state that they see digitalization as a new service food models as enables. But also they were usually stated that regulatory complexity and unstable rules and costly compliance are key barriers. For example, industry actor in Greece stated that time-consuming licensing procedures, frequent changes in legislation, complex regulation on production, limiting access and slowing transfer of knowledge in this transformation to open innovation in food system. And from government and public sector, we identify that they rely on EU frameworks and regionalization frameworks, but also they stated that they struggle with slow administration system and coordination across levels. For example, public authorities in Spain stated that when combined and with effective collaboration between public institutions and private stakeholders, fiscal indication measures can accelerate progress towards more sustainable, resilient, and competitive regional food system. And research and academia stated that they benefit from multi-level strategies and funding, but also faces heavy bureaucracy, short funding circles, and limited innovation culture in some regions. And for example, academia actors in Poland stated that first and foremost, we need to adapt to long-term innovation strategy. This is fundamental, that we need to set a clear direction that we need to stick to. And also they stated that EU is already taking steps toward long-term use of innovation development and understands that this innovation means increased competitiveness and prosperity and economic growth. And of course, social growth consequently. And civil society, they repeatedly emphasizing their need of access of findings and also importance on local quality labels and community-based innovation, but they faced capacity constraints. For example, civil society actor from Finland, they state that if we can communicate important fact-based points about agriculture and forestry in a way that spreads our messages as widely as possible across different sectors, the opportunities are huge. So we need to understand the importance of agriculture and forestry, and so society would become clear role, and our role would be more significant. So all these insights lead us to this to the more large-scale research, and I will briefly introduce to results of our third stage of survey insight, that we're focusing on familiarity with open innovation, belief in transformative potentials, and perceive power and balance between quadruple stakeholders in 5 pilot regions in our project. And we could say that results shows that civil society stakeholders are on average less familiar with open innovation concept. They are also less confident in their transformative potential. And at the same time, civil society across the world most likely to perceive power and balance between stakeholder groups in this food system. And when we were analyzing key drivers for open innovation, the 3 factors clearly stand out. So here we can stand that funding and opportunities for collaborative projects were one of the key drivers of transformation. Also, one of the important factors was support of local and EU level policy, and of course, importance of shared vision and priority in this collaboration were identified as the key drivers of open innovation in the food sector. So all these findings in these 3 stages allow us to also provide quadruple helix tailored policy and practice implications. So for every 4 quadruple helix, we has a recommendation for actors. And just to conclude our findings, I could say that food system transformation in Europe is already underway, but it remains uneven and fragmented, and constrained by institutional and governance barriers. Open innovation holds significant potential now, but success depends on inclusive engagement and across all quadruple helix stakeholders. We need to reduce power imbalance and stronger long-term policy and funding commitments. Civil society engagement really and it requires targeted support and ensures the transformation process are not only innovated, but also democratic and socially embedded. So I think I could conclude here. And I really look forward for our discussion and your question in our interactive session. And I'm really thank you very much for your attention. And I think I will give the floor to the next speakers.
Thank you, Albina.